Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's go together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, November 11th. It's Veterans Day. Hope you had a nice day off. The markets were open. They just closed here. So let's take a look at our tickers and how we did for the week. To kick things off, we've got the triple Qs here. You can see my annotations from last week where I talked about overhead resistance here in the red highlight. And you can see that price didn't go up quite that far in the past week. Where we are right now is along the bottom part of this trend line, this channel. You can see that. Price dipped down underneath for Friday the 7th. And you can see that buyers stepped in immediately and bought it back up. So what is the likely next move for triple Qs? Well, overall, my prediction is unchanged for the downside. It still is to the downside. The question is there going to be an impulsive move? I'm going to redraw my lines here. There is a gap up here. You can see that there's a gap here. I'll just zoom in for us real quick. Kind of show you. It's not huge, okay? So the question is, will price come up to fill the gap before further low prices? Let's take a look here. I don't see a lot of momentum to the upside. You can see the volume candles below getting smaller and smaller. The past 3 days here, 81 million, 55, and 42. So I don't think there is going to be a gap fill, a full gap fill. So I'll annotate it here. Yes, there is overhead resistance here, okay? But I don't think it'll reach that far. So here's my annotation. I think it may poke its head through, might not even reach that far before it begins to break down. Now the question is, after it breaks down underneath this trend line here, this one, I'll just make it thick just so that we can talk about it. Once it breaks down underneath this, what is the likely move? Well, as with all breakdowns, there will be a retest. So they will have it come back, probably retest, and maybe even retest up to the top of the gap fill before resuming the downward move. So that is the overall direction, remains to the downside for triple Qs, okay? The next support area is the 200-day. It'll probably, head over here somewhere, or this trend line here, this thick one. Here's the next area of support. I'm going to extend this trend line real quick. Hang on, just so we can pay attention to it. All right. Further low prices for triple Qs. I don't think it'll make a new all-time high. Let's switch over to GDX, the gold miners play. Gold miners have been coming back to test resistance. So I talked about resistance being this trend line here. Okay, I'll make it a little bit thicker just to highlight the one I'm talking about. There you go. And I put this red annotation here to highlight resistance. You can see that price has come back up here, and I'll zoom in. The past couple of days, price has come back and it's retesting resistance. Okay, like I said, this is an area of resistance. Now, the question then is there momentum to push through the resistance? And I don't see that. This is just a a dip buyers coming back in to buy it up. Because look at this. Look at the volume. It's a relatively low volume, 30 million, 16 million today. If you wanted conviction on the buy side, you want to see big volume candles, but there isn't that. This is just people buying GDX at a price premium. So there is this gap fill here. I'll extend it to the right here. There you go. There is a gap fill. Is it going to get all the way up there? I don't think so. So let's slide this over. Okay. Maybe you do something like this. I don't think it'll gap fill fully. And then it's further low prices. The next area of support is this 65. And then of course you have the 200-day. So let's just kind of slide it over a little bit. Okay. That's just freehand drawn. Overall lower prices. I wouldn't buy GDX or gold at this time. Switching over to Microstrategy, the Bitcoin play. The overall sentiment and move I still feel is to the upside. Look at all this bullishness down here. In fact, with today's price action, one could extend the bullishness even further. So I'll go like that. Actually, let me zoom in to make it a little bit clearer. So like that and like that, okay? It's bullish. So the zone of support that I talked about in the last video, which is this gap area, and note the two green highlights I put in, were to depict zones of support where buyers, especially on the algorithm side, would come back in. Excuse me, I think I have a cold. So this is an opportunity to go long. Okay, I'll just slide this over. It's still a zone of support, just sliding this over. Now, if price were to break underneath here, you should ask, where is support? Well, if price remains underneath this gap fill, I really don't see support until perhaps this over here, okay? Due to the touches here, here. I'll zoom in to let you get a better understanding of it. You can see price came up, hit it here, the green candle. Same thing here, retested, got rejected, came back down. Came back up, retest, rejected, came back up, resistance, finally broke through. So this line here is fairly legitimate. I'll make it a double one there, a little bit thicker. So I expect that if price were to break underneath here, that would be a pretty big signal that MicroStrategy is in trouble, at least from a ticker standpoint. So let's see how big of a move. That's like a 30% move down. But I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not telling you, I'm not giving you my opinion that this is a short opportunity, because the indicator from the RSI perspective this is not a short setup. This is a long setup. Okay. So the long setup is based on the momentum indicator down here, to perhaps begin a accumulation of stock, of shares of strategy to go long. I'm not in this trade myself because from a psychology standpoint, I've traded MicroStrategy for a long time. And I've talked about this in other videos, that I'm used to being more successful trading MicroStrategy on the downside, a bearish move. So shorting MicroStrategy, I've been more successful. I've had a lot less success on trading MicroStrategy, Bitcoin proxy, going long. So with that, I just wait for the setup, for the short setup from a momentum standpoint to appear, and then I'll take a position to the short side. Okay, this is one of my more successful tickers that I trade, but it's mostly to the short side. So I'm not going long on this. I'm just informing you that I'm waiting for the long play to play out, finish, perhaps hit the 200-day. Then I'll reassess whether the short position, short trade is there. Okay? If you want to go long, I'm not giving you trading advice. I'm just explaining that from a momentum standpoint, the whales are going back in long. Let's switch to Microsoft. Okay, the double top here continues to play out. Two tops at 555 up here. You can see all this sideways price action, and then further selling for the past week. Now, overall, the annotation is really unchanged. I'm just going to slide the red resistance zone over to the right because the upper edge of this wide gap box remains resistance, okay, overhead resistance. In fact, I'm going to move this down further, okay, because it's out of play, I'd say. Oh, I'll just clean it up and I'll just redraw it a little bit more clearly. So take that out of play. This overhead resistance isn't in play at this moment, so I'm just going to remove it. And then I'll just annotate. This is likely a flag move. You can see it here. Here's the flag. And then I'll go do something like that, okay? That's the likely end point, is this 200-day for this move. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw this as there's going to be resistance up here, maximum up to this top of this gap fill, but I don't think so. It'll probably stop before there, so let me make the annotation a little bit more clear. Maybe it'll go up like this, at most this far, and then down, okay? And then like this. All right. And then I'm going to slide the 200-day over. It'll be something like this. Now, if you like to look at flags, I talk about flags all the time. Let's look at it. Here's the hourly. Give me a second as I annotate this. The bottom edge here, something like this. I'll make the top part of it something like, let's see, something like that. Okay, so there's your pizza wedge. Okay, it may continue, and they may peak it up. It's fine. The main point is, don't go long on Microsoft. This is not the time. The whales, the sharks have already told one another, get out. Okay, all the shark signals here. Further low prices for Microsoft. Take your profits while you can. Switching to Tesla. All right, Tesla is playing out as suspected. A lot of sideways action, hitting overhead resistance here. I'm going to just slide this resistance line over to the right. It's still in play. And my annotation is unchanged. You see that? Bounce it around, hit overhead resistance, get rejected, come back down. Do a small bounce over here, and then further low prices for the gap fill. The next zone of support is down here at the 200-day. That is Tesla. Coming over to Palantir. Palantir has this overhead gap as a zone of resistance. I'm going to just annotate here. I don't think they'll get it up here to gap fill. Instead, they'll sell it before it gets there. So further low prices for Palantir, unchanged overall direction. Okay. All right. Good luck with that one. It's really to the downside, so take your profits, get out of Palantir while you can. Over to Northrop. Okay, Northrop did not behave as I expected. Now, my annotation here was based on the suspicion that they would push it up above the purple trend line to hold it there a little bit longer. Last Tuesday's video, Tuesday is right here. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so Tuesday is this green candle here. Okay, at the end of Tuesday, they put price they close it right there. You see that? Right at the bottom edge of the purple trend line. And this trend line, I just freehand drew it. So it's not, a computer drawn trend line. But the point is, you can see that price was right at it. So my suspicion on the video last week was they're going to want to stop out all of the shorts, all the people who are loading up on short trades for Northrop Grumman. So I figured they're going to push price up, perhaps even to get it up here to this zone up here before they continue to sell it down, because that is the general direction, is to the downside in the medium term for Northrop. But what they did was they started to sell with not a lot of volume. Look at this. The volume down here is nothing exciting. So what that means to me is they're not done. They're not done manipulating the price movement. So what they're going to do, my revised drawing will be, is they're going to push price back up, because that's just how it works. So my suspicion is they'll push it back up, maybe peek it through the purple a little bit before further low prices. Okay, that's the general direction, is to the downside. Now, I'll leave this red resistance line up here because it's been a point of battling. But I'm going to make another red line here, right here. So they may peek it up, poke the price through, maybe, give it a candle wick. See all these candle wicks? So maybe they'll do that before resuming the selling. But selling is the overall direction. So if you're in Northrop, and I have a bunch of subscribers who, love their Northrop stocks, and I'm happy for them because they've done well to the long side. Right now is a momentum shift, okay? So take some of your profits while you can, and then wait for some analysis to say get back in, okay? Like how it happened over here with the whale. And you can see the momentum shift here on the daily, on the daily chart, okay? So here, price push all the way down in early February, causing a bullishness in the RSI to appear. And this is the point to take accumulation. In fact, I would have said accumulate here at the top of above the purple trend line for the long trade. Okay, anyway, right now, take your profits while you can and wait. Switching to GM. General Motors. Last week, I drew actually 2 weeks ago, I drew the double quote for the shark. Because that was my way of saying, hey, I predict that a shark signal will arrive due to bearishness over here. I figured they would push price up, make a new high, so that bearishness from a momentum standpoint would show up. And indeed it has. You can see it here. Okay. With that, the prediction of the shark signal is now validated. I'll just get rid of the quotes, because the quotes, it's no longer a prediction that it's coming, it's here. So this is the point for the sharks to tell one another, take profit, get out of the trade, and for us as retail investors to not get in the trade. They're looking to sell, so they need somebody to sell to, and that would be retail investors. Likely, some sort of news announcement will come out, get everybody excited, right? They'll make up something. They always seem to come up with something really exciting to get retail investors to buy in so that they have the opportunity. It's called liquidity. So they have liquidity to get out of their trades. So overall direction remains unchanged. I'll just slide this over. Oh, I just can't slide it all. So I'll just re-annotate it like this. Likely breakdown, come back, retest underside, and then further selling. Okay, something like that. You get the picture. Okay, but general direction is down. This is not the time to go long. And resistance, yeah, there'll be some resistance. Once it gets underneath, then there will be resistance. Let's see, can I grab this little red one? Underneath here, okay? So further low prices for GM, take your profit while you can. The gap fill is coming. Let's see how big this move would be. So from where where the retest will be. I'm not going to go from up here, but from wherever the retest will be, because the retest will come. All right, gap fill would be about 16%, 15, 16% move. So if you're going short at the retest, which is what I'm looking for, then that's a good move right here, 15% in a couple of weeks probably. All right, heading over to a long play also, GIS. 2 zones of support that I talked about down here, okay, with massive, look at this down here, massive bullishness going back all the way for a year. It's a lot of momentum that's built up, a lot of energy that's built up. I really think the upside to this move at the minimum is up here. I mean, excuse me, the maximum is to this 65. So that's a hefty move from where we are now. I'm in this trade already, so I'm a little bit underwater, but that's okay because I'm already in the trade. I'm not going to chase price. I'd rather get in early. So from here to up there, you know, that's a nice move, 40% or so, if you're able to get into it. Now, if price were to break down underneath these 2 zones of support, then we'll have to revisit a little bit, okay? But for now, my annotation remains unchanged. Further movement upward accumulation phase for GIS, which is the cereal company. And I'll just kind of slide the 200-day over, okay? There you have it. Let's switch to the other long play, UPS. Last week, I annotated the flag. See this flag here on the hourly chart? And price has been behaving within it. So let's take a look. Here's the hourly. You can see the flag taking place here, the breakout, the sell down, but then it's found some support, and now it's coming back up. This is the hourly. Overall, the general direction remains unchanged, up. That's my thesis, unchanged. And if you're in the trade, great. Now, right now, we're in between 2 areas. We're in between the 98 and the 90. So price is right in the middle here at 95. So if I were you, if you're not already long, if you're not already in a long position, this is not the spot to take a trade. Don't take a trade far from a support line or a resistance line, depending on the direction you're trying to do. So in this case, since this is a long trade, you're really far away from support. You're about, let's see, from here down to support, that's about 5% down, and up, that's about about 3.5, 3.25%. You're in like this quasi middle zone, so I don't advise it. Additionally, the top edge of this gap may pose to be resistance. Okay. Overall, the direction remains to the upside. Hence, my annotations remain like this. Let's switch to Lululemon. All right. The accumulation phase is all throughout here. And I put the whale in quotes to show that likely they will push price down to hit this bottom trend line right here where I put the green. Likely they would bring it down there and it would cause bullishness to appear, and indeed it has. Okay, so with that, my prediction for bullishness is no longer a prediction. Indeed, it has shown up. I'll get rid of the quotes, and then let's revisit what the next move will be. Because of where we are now, this annotation up here, this indecision point will be removed. And now let's talk about the next move. All right. You can see that price is above this one, okay? Price is above this dotted line here, which I'll make it for consistency, go back to this. All right. So where we are here, it will likely be support. Okay. Overall direction, it's up. It'll hit the upper edge of this gap fill, and that there will be a rejection. Okay, so somewhere along here, it'll get rejected. And then reject, come back down, find some support, and then continue its move up, hit the 200-day. So there's the 200-day. Okay. Overall, upward move. Ultimately, I think there may be a chance that it will attempt to do this gap fill up here. Attempt. It won't complete it. It may not complete it. Let's see what so from where we are here to the 200-day, all right, that's about a 30% move. So that's a pretty huge move from where we are today. And then with that, it's likely to hit resistance at the 200-day, okay? And there may be even further resistance here at the bottom edge. So it may not even get to go through the gap fill and get up here, just because I don't think the move can sustain itself. 30% from where it is here is massive. So we'll have to reassess before then. Earnings is coming up. Earnings is on this day here. What's this? December 4th. Okay. Now, where is support if it breaks down? If Lululemon breaks down, ooh, I don't even see support. Let's see. Next zone of support might be, all right, I'll take an action to find support and put it in the next video. And then the last ticker is Target. How's it behaving? You know, I talked about the accumulation and how the whales are getting back in. And my annotation is to the upside. So it's no change. You can see it here. There's no change. Okay, I'll just kind of slide it over to the right a little bit. Okay, so Target is a good long opportunity in my opinion. And from where we are today, let me move this over a little bit. From where we are today up to the gap fill. All right, so that's my target, the gap fill, about a 30% move. So that could, take a couple months to get 30%. All right, so those are all the tickers for this week. I'm really looking for other tickers to review. So please leave a comment. Let me know what other tickers you'd like me to look at, or what other sectors. I used to review sectors once a month. Healthcare, discretionary, real estate, what else? Metals. Anyway, I used to do that. If you're interested in me reviewing that again, let me know. And as always, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Share my content with your friends and family, and help my channel grow so that I can get my message out to more folks. And as always, good luck with your trades.